How do you manage your time when you're home educating? That's one of the causes of a dilemma, really, for some parents who actually want to go into home education. Well, like anything else, you learn the ropes, you learn what suits you, what works for you, what works for your family, and go with that. One thing for me that really worked is I didn't join any home education groups. That worked really well because I have more children and they're close in age, so they play together and they learn together and they travel together. Adding regular activities would just knock me off my schedule and my goals and my targets, because with home education there are so many people with different goals and targets. Some don't even teach their children the curriculum. Some just learn in different ways. So when you get to go regularly with people who don't align with how you are doing things, it can be a bit of a problem. So I didn't. And also I didn't like the idea of going out too regularly. Otherwise it defeats the whole object of home education. What I mean by going out too regularly is going out to specific things every day at a fixed timetable. We did go out a lot, but at our own pace. And if we decide, okay, we had planned to go here and there, but have decided not to, we can cancel it. But if you have other people waiting for you, expecting you, it's a problem. And I knew it wouldn't work for me, because when you've got a house with a lot of children, so many things come up. And sometimes we just don't want to leave the house as early as we planned or as late as we planned. We want to leave earlier or later. I just like that flexibility. So that's what I did. So you manage your time according to what you want and other like-minded people. There are some people who don't mind a random, oh, can we see you this afternoon? Or can I come in? I was near your place. Can we come in to play and stuff like that? If you're not there, you're not there. But if you're there, then that'll be a great opportunity. So you could come up and meet with people like that. And managing your time really depends on what you want as an individual. I've never been in a race against anyone, or wanting the children to do certain things at specific times. No, it wasn't really a competition. So if I had planned to leave the house at 8 o'clock for whatever reason, and I can't, then that's it. We just leave when we can. If you choose not to leave after all, that's okay too. So be very flexible. There are some people who love structure. They are there, they exist, and they are there in the home education community. There are people who will stick to timetables, like a school, and will sit down. I've heard of some home educating parents who've actually bought their children's school uniforms just to wear, so that they say, okay, it sets them in the mood for the day, to actually know that it's time to work, and it works for them. But for me, I've never done that, and I never intended to, because I was not trying to replicate school at home. I was just trying to give my children an education. So with that education, you can learn in anything. You don't have to have a uniform. You don't have to wear anything specific. There are times when they've done their work and do their work, even now, in pajamas, morning gowns, whatever. We're not going out, so I don't see what the problem is. So that's what we've done over the years. And if one of them wants to sit at a desk, they want to sit at a sofa, it's entirely up to them, as long as they are getting the concepts. So there was a time when, with the 5 children, now when I'm home educating all 5, because at some point it was 2, then 3, and 4. And at each stage, things change. How I did things with 2 children is not the same when I did it with 3. So we had a tight dining table where a lot of work was happening. So let's say I'm on child 3, for example. The older one is now, let's say 6, 4, and 2. The 2-year-old obviously needs more attention than the 6-year-old in terms of what they are capable of doing at that stage. So at 2, really, it's a matter of stopping them from distracting the others. So it's just give them crayons, a coloring book, or something, and then while they're busy with that, even if it's for a few seconds or minutes, whatever time, it can give you a few minutes to work with other children. So, and then let's say the 2-year-old is now 4, and there's the 6-year-old and the 8-year-old. The 8-year-old and the 6-year-old, they can focus on some things. You give them something to do, and then you introduce new things to the younger ones, or give the younger ones something to do while you focus with the older ones. So that's what I did. I'll just let them all sit together at the dining table, give someone something. If they're too young to actually do some of the work, then give them a bottle of milk, a snack or something, while the others are focusing on other things. And that way you've got your eye on everybody, so that one of them is not going or running off doing something else. I'm making some Highlander shortbread. So this is the first step of it. So when you have the children at the table, all doing, different things, I'm there in the middle or somewhere on the head of the table, and I'm just giving attention to whoever needs it at that time. Another thing that helped me manage my time is taking them to the same activities. So if one had swimming, I made sure they all did swimming. And then swimming time slots are different, and swimming is only available after school. So that's a bit of a challenge, because you don't find many children's activities unless you pay for them privately. For example, swimming. If you were to hire a swimming pool somewhere and get a private swim teacher, that would work. But I went to the swim center, and there the swimming lessons start after school. So we'll make sure that the swimming is all in one day. But there were problems. Let's say one has moved up now a stage and the others are still in their stages. Then the one who has moved up, you may find that they don't have the same day swimming. I didn't really mind waiting around. So if the first person swimming is at, let's say, 4 o'clock, and they have lessons until about 7, 8 o'clock at night, I wouldn't mind being there for 4 hours knowing, okay, I have everybody swimming on the same day. But when one moves up, it changes the whole dynamics of things. You find that maybe they've moved up. They'll try and put them at the same day around the same time, but sometimes that wasn't a possibility. So you end up with now 3 or 4 children on one swimming day and another one on a different day, which wasn't too bad if it's just one child. But then I always try to get them back to swimming on the regular days. So that's something you can look into. And then for gymnastics, for example, I would make sure that the gymnastics times are similar days, similar times, and just do the same thing. Horse riding and anything else really we did, try to get everybody to go. And then let's say you have younger children and one is horse riding and the others are too young for that. We just, wait around. I can even use that time to teach or catch up on something with the younger ones who can't do their lesson or haven't started their lesson yet. Because with horse riding, when they move up, they don't always move up all at the same time. So, and the lessons could be at different times. So one could start in a beginner's class at a certain time. Other one is in an advanced class So in between, to stop them being bored, you can do something else with the others. And where my children started horse riding, there was a farm next to it. They had chickens, cows, and stuff like that. So while one is horse riding, because you could leave them, I would take the younger ones to the farm right next door, or to the park. There was also a park nearby. So it just depends on the weather. Put the wellies on. If it's raining, still go splash around in muddy puddles. And they had a petting area as well. Some places allow petting area. Actually, this one didn't have a petting one, so you couldn't really touch the animals, but they could see them. So that was good. So that's one way of managing them. Just make sure they all. If you have one child who is home educated, like some people do, the dynamics obviously are different. They want to make friends, and groups may be necessary in those situations. And there are families who home educate one child. It happens. They're there. I've seen them in the groups that I'm in, and it works. They have more regular meetups because the children need other children, their age groups, to play around with, and they do meet up regularly. So that's quite good. There is something for everybody. There is something for everybody according to your circumstances. So just see what suits and take it from there. These are Highlander biscuits. So they're still too soft for me to work with at the moment. So I am just rolling them up in some cling film, put them in the fridge to firm up, and then I will bake them. The good thing about these biscuits is you can roll them up into the log and then cut pieces and put it back in the fridge. You can even put it in the freezer for whenever you want some biscuits. So I'm just going to cut a few and then put it back in the fridge. This cracking happens when they've been in the fridge for a bit too much time. You don't need to put them too firm. So if you put them in the fridge for a while, you can get them out for a few minutes just to slightly soften them. So I'm just going to roll this back up and put it in the fridge for when I want some cookies, or even if you have emergency guests or just surprise visitors, you can just get them out of the freezer, put them on your worktop to defrost, cut a few slices and bake them. So these are going to go in the oven for a few minutes. This one, the one I cut first time. Okay, they're ready. Look at that. Just slightly golden brown on top and very light on the top. Slightly golden brown at the bottom and a very pale color on the top, and this is exactly what you're going for. I've left them to cool completely on the baking tray. So I'm just going to add them to these cookies. Okay, I'm going to break this one. Show you what they look like. Thanks for watching, and see you again in the next video.